I'm here at the movie tavern. Where are you?
Hey, yeah, I'm here. I'm at the movie tavern.
No, you're not here.
Are you here?
And people are starting to look at me like I'm lost.
You sure you're here? Movie tavern. In Little Rock.
Where are you?
I'm in here. I'm like at the bar by the smoothie station.
The smoothie counter? Do you mean the popcorn machine?
Let me come outside.
Hold up a second.
Yeah, I'm totally here. Movie tavern, right?
No, you're definitely in the wrong place.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Tavern Talk. I am Philip, and joining me this week is Rachel Norris from the Arkansas Cinema Society. Thank you for being here, Rachel.
Of course.
Yeah. Tell me first what you do with the Arkansas Cinema Society.
Yeah, sure. So I'm the Filmmaking Lab for Teen Girls program director, and we host every summer about a 5-week-long program for juniors and seniors in high school in mostly Central Arkansas, but we have a couple of girls from out of that area. Who come in and make a film from start to finish.
So currently happening?
It's starting July 6th, actually.
Oh, okay.
So they write their own film, they screenplay everything, they make the film, they go through post, learn about all the different aspects of filmmaking, and then at the end we screen the film at Filmland, which is pretty cool. Our first year, of course, because now we've been in pandemic COVID land,
right.
But our very first year, the girls screened their film in front of Bert and Birdie, which is like, top notch. So
yeah, no,
it's always super exciting.
And I love Filmland. I gotta say, like, I've been a couple of years now.
Yeah.
Last year with the drive-in and everything.
It was really good.
Love it.
Yeah,
Loved it.
It was
Loved
awesome.
it. No, that's awesome. Well, yeah. I know if you're in current prep for that program and everything.
Yes.
Thank you for taking the time to be here. I appreciate it.
Totally.
But I do appreciate you being here because we're kind of talking about a pretty big movie.
Yes.
And one, a lot of people are looking forward to. I think it's been a while since we've seen a Marvel movie on the big screen. We've seen a couple of the Disney Plus shows now,
right.
Since, as we're kind of coming out of COVID and everything. But this is the first one back on the big screen. Black Widow is obviously what we're talking about. Initial reaction, what are your thoughts? We'll just start there, of general idea, or general thoughts.
I was surprised. I was surprised and very, happily surprised.
Yeah.
In the same way that when I walked away from Captain Marvel, I was like, I gotta join the Air Force! I walked away from this movie being like, yes, good job, way to go, team. It was amazing action scenes, ode to all of the fantastic, spy thrillers out there. Great storyline, a fantastic action. I think overall they did a really good job doing a weird origin / not origin, but she's dead, but we don't know, back in time thing.
Yeah.
That just happened.
That's the big question heading into this, right? For most people, it's when does this take place?
Yes.
How are we doing this? Because I've seen Endgame, I know what happens.
Right.
How is this happening?
Yeah.
Short answer, it's between Civil War and Infinity War.
Yes.
So we get, what was going on with Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, to kind of, it honestly gives her a little piece about, or we get a little more of an idea of why she was so at peace with what happens to her character eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of the big question was, when is this going to take place? And the second one being, what are the ramifications? Are there going to be any ramifications on the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe? Because, if she's not a part of it anymore, spoiler alert, then...
That better not be a spoiler, y'all. That really better not be.
I mean, if you're watching a Black Widow review, hopefully you've seen the rest of the MCU movies, but sorry if not. But yeah, so if she's not a part of this universe anymore, what does this matter?
Yeah.
So how do you think do you think it addressed those in an interesting way, a good way?
Yeah, and they did a really good job, I think, at the beginning of the film, just reminding us, where it took place, hey, y'all, the Sokovia Accords are a thing right now.
Right.
They did a really good job of doing that. And I think they also did a good job of, there are flashbacks into her past that give us more information about her character and, and how she was raised and the creation of this incredible spy master, while also having this amazing, present day action film that doesn't really have anything to do with the Avengers necessarily, while there are some fantastic nods to the Avengers throughout the film. It was cool to be able to, I think that they did a good job being able to show where it's supposed to be in time and making it an origin story while not truly being an origin story in that sense.
Yeah,
of a traditional, like, here's the creation of Captain America. Like, it was not that.
Yeah, it wasn't ABC down the line.
Right.
This happened, then this happened. It was kind of like, this is how she came to be who she is, but it informed like why she is the way she is now really well. What I was really interested in was, we'd kind of gotten hints of her backstory before about how she was this trained assassin growing up from a really young age. And it was like this family that she had, apparently, like how did they fit into this larger story? Because we'd never heard of them before. And yet Black Widow seemed to largely, and it does kind of feel like a family drama in a lot of ways that helps her, like it defines like her family and her family unit for her own self, but it also relates to that a larger Avengers family, like you were saying. So, and
I think it's cool too in terms of that because I think she gets so upset during the times when the Avengers get broken up. Yeah. And I think, and when different Avengers leave for various reasons throughout, the Marvel universe, and so I think it was really cool to be like, okay, this is where all of that kind of started, and why she is that way. Because most of the time she's such an aloof, like, spy person, right? Like, you don't get a lot of personality out of her. She's very, like, Yeah. And so it was cool to be able to see different. I make this happen. Yeah, and I do sweet flips and flip people over, and such a poser. Such a poser. such a poser.
It's great running bit. Great.
So
I loved
good. It was so good.
We'll talk about Florence Pugh, but I just...
If you were ever going to be like, we need someone who can be emotional, serious, and a total, like, bad A person. Yeah. Like, the casting director must have been, like, watching Little Women and being like, that is the person. Oh my God, it's that kind of film.
That's what I need.
She's it. Because she is fantastic in this film.
I almost kind of feel bad because she almost steals the movie, honestly. And it's like, this is Scarlett Johansson's like swan song and everything, but at the same time, I'm like,
dang.
Yeah.
She's just so good.
But at the same time, it's like, this movie, while it is supposed to be like Scarlett Johansson's like final thing, it is kind of setting up some stuff with,
there's
not to get into too much, but
there's
I mean,
a little bit of stuff going on.
It's almost as much Florence Pugh's, what's her character name?
Yelena.
So, you get a lot of Yelena, and it's not a bad thing. She is great. Yeah. Like, I think I wrote down like 4 of her lines of dialogue because I was cracking up. I loved everything
she was fantastic.
She had going on.
The Red Guardian was amazing also, and like throughout the whole film, like anytime he was in a scene. Because he's so great anyway, but I just feel like his character and Yelena's character, because it's cool how you could see how the Red Guardian and Elena's kind of personalities paired up, and how Melina and Natasha's personalities paired up, and you even see that playing out in their family dynamic throughout the kind of middle and half of the film, and so that was a cool, just because it happens, I think, in normal family units. Yeah. And it was cool to see that truly was happening, with their family.
Yeah, that honestly, I was gonna say that was one of my favorite parts of the movie. There's like this middle section where they kind of have a reunion, and you've got David Harbour and Rachel Weisz that are playing Red Guardian and Melina, and who are the parents, and then obviously Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh are sisters, and they live this family unit for what they say 3 years, I think.
That sounds right.
It was like an artificial family unit because they were undercover Soviet Union spies or something like that.
Maybe some Hydra ties, but it's hard to know.
Yeah, and they were after some technology that does some brain altering for purposes that come to light later. But I did also want to say, we need to talk about the family more and like just that family dynamic, because I did love that scene where there's just that reunion and them like playing off those dynamics. Yes. But the deal with the difference in how Scarlett Johansson's character is a Black Widow and Florence Pugh's character is a Black Widow, and the whole mind, like, I can't remember how she put it in the movie, but it was like psychological conditioning versus straight up just hijacking their brain, basically. Right. And so I thought that was really cool and kind of explained away how they could get away with all that happening while she was doing her avenging. Yeah.
Well, and I thought it was an interesting, not that there's a lot of nods to Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I thought it was an interesting connect to Winter Soldier, because I feel like he obviously went through a lot of brain conditioning true
Yeah.
the Soviets, and all of the words that they were using to control him.
Yeah, very
and so
true.
that was kind of an interesting parallel, I thought, to
Yeah.
kind of that type of brain control.
And I think there is like a line too where she's like, some of it in accordance with the Winter Soldier program or something like that. Where Rachel Weisz says something, I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me. But no, I was going into this kind of lukewarm. I wasn't sure what to expect, just because of those like stipulations of why are we getting a Black Widow movie now after Endgame? Like, what is the point of this? Is it going to have any larger impact? And I was pleasantly surprised by how, I should mention this was directed by Kate Shortland. She made a film called Berlin Syndrome in 2017. I haven't seen that, but like it looks great.
It does look
great. The action scenes are, except for like a couple shots in that final, you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Yeah, except
it's a little bit of CGI extra.
Yeah.
And you can tell that it's CGI extra, and it's just like, oh, come on, guys.
Yeah, but there are like 2 or 3 big action set pieces here, and the majority of them look legit. Yeah, really, really good. Yeah. Especially I think there's a car chase through.
Yes.
What is it? Budapest.
Budapest.
Yeah.
Just like Budapest all over again. You and I remember Budapest very differently.
And they don't explain like what exactly happened there, but they give enough of give more information than we've received thus far.
Well, I think the CGI makes sense given the setting, right?
Yeah,
like it would be
obviously.
impossible to shoot that without using it.
Yeah.
And for those of you who've seen Moonraker, then you'll know why I'm giving you a nod to that. But I just feel like that was I mean, they would never have been able to do it without CGI,
No, absolutely. And like I said, like I was surprised at how good it looked.
Yeah.
I was hoping, with it being delayed a year, they might tighten
up a little bit?
tighten up some of those shots, but it looked good, and it was like just overall, I was way more invested in not only Black Widow and Natasha than I expected to be at this point in the game, but the family as a unit altogether.
Yeah.
And like you said, David Harbour and Florence Pugh kind of steal the show. They're so great together. But I mean, anything else that like you wanted to highlight or like things that took away from it for you?
I mean, I think the DP I thought did a great job. Like nods to using lighting to highlight the red room kind of concept. I mean, throughout the whole film, they use the color red in just such a brilliant way. Like even in Melina's hair.
Yeah, I noticed
like the highlights. I was like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was like really cool that they're kind of constantly bringing it up. It's not super in your face throughout the whole film, but there is that red like coloration thread throughout that I thought was really smart.
Yeah.
And then just in terms of the henchman Taskmaster, for those of you who are comic book fans, I think there's a lot of stipulation about like who is this person going to be or what is this person going to be, because the character in the film looks very different than the comic character.
See, I'm not a huge...
So the comic character looks kind of like Red Skull. Like it's like, obviously not red, but like it's a skull face and it's a male. And so the fact that this, current Taskmaster is like very robotic looking and fully masked.
Right.
It was interesting. And I think they did a fantastic job with their character, connecting it to kind of Natasha's arc.
Right.
Which was really cool.
Very true. Yeah,
and tying in like also how evil the bad guy truly is, because you don't really see the bad guy throughout the film.
Right. No.
And then, but then you really get how evil this dude is when you see kind of all the culmination of like Natasha's life and how that kind of interconnects with Dreykov.
Yeah, and I mean, you're right. He's not. Ray Winstone plays Dreykov, and he's not on screen that much.
No.
But he does make a pretty good impression. Like, and I had no expectation for. Like, I don't know much about the comic, so I wasn't aware of Taskmaster, what the history is with that, how much. I imagine people are probably looking forward to seeing. Them brought to life on the big screen. So I didn't have any high expectation for that. I don't know how many people or how much people would be disappointed in the execution of it here.
But I thought it was a smart execution.
But I liked it, yeah. It seems like one of those things that Marvel does. Like they always take comic storylines and seem to just twist them just a little bit enough to fit their overall arc that they're doing in the movies. And it seems like a situation like that.
Yeah.
And but no, I was happy with it. I liked where it went, how it kind of. And the scene between Natasha and the Taskmaster near the end, is great that you wouldn't expect from a big movie like this, and it kind of goes there, and I'm just like,
oh, good job.
I like it.
Good job.
I dig it.
And I, as a female who's all about having more females in the filmmaking community and like making big name films, I feel like it was so cool to have a female director make an incredible, action-packed, fantastic spy thriller.
Yeah.
Who also does such a good job of making it a comedy in the same way that like Taika does a great job with Thor.
Yeah.
And adding in that kind of emotional piece too, without it being like in your face. And so I think it was so cool to see this female director do all of this amazing stuff in like one single film. Like she did a great job being able to do all of that.
Yeah.
And like, you know,
Balance
2 hours.
It. Yeah. And it's, no, I completely agree. And on that note, so on Tavern Talk, we usually do out of 5 stars.
Oh.
What would you rank Black Widow out of 5?
Okay, so I'm gonna like just be focusing with my 5 stars on like the spy thriller.
Fair, yeah,
genre.
Yeah, no,
I feel like
that makes sense.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, and in terms of like the Marvel universe, like to me, I came away with this film feeling empowered as a female the way that I did when I came out of Captain Marvel too.
Okay.
And so I think for me, like it's a solid 4.
Yeah,
for sure. Like maybe a 4.5. You know, like I feel like they did such a great job. They just, I mean, it really, like I was surprised at how fantastic it was.
Yeah, I honestly was like going back and forth between 3.5 and 4 because it really did surprise me at how much I was invested in this because I thought I was past it, but like I really enjoyed it.
It was great.
It's really solid. So I'm gonna go 4. It's a solid 4-star movie. It's an action spy thriller, and you're right. It has comedy. It really does have solid action. Like the set pieces are really great. That chase scene through Budapest is
so good.
So good. But yeah,
it reminded me a little bit of the chase scene with Bane and whatever Batman that was when Bane was there.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure you're talking about Batman and Robin, but no, I'm kidding.
Dark
Knight Rises. Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, I know.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. No. I know.
Robin. Get out of here, man.
He's Poison Ivy. He was Poison Ivy's henchman.
Okay.
No. Well. Yeah. So both Rachel and I, hearty recommendation for Black Widow. If you're able to, if you feel comfortable to, definitely see it on the big screen. I would definitely recommend doing that. If you have a movie tavern near you, definitely check it out at a movie tavern. We want to thank them for letting us shoot the show here, see the movies here. Always a good time at the movie tavern. Check them out. And thank you, Rachel, once again for doing this, taking the time out to do this. And if you're in Central Arkansas and you're looking for some, a filmmaking community, check out the Arkansas Cinema Society and everything they have going on.
Come to Filmland.
Yes.
It's the very last week of September, beginning of October. Fantasticness.
It's so good. Last year we saw Nomadland and One Night in Miami,
and
4 or 5 months before.
Yeah, and
they
Chloe's
released.
Now doing the Eternals for Marvel. So there you go.
Way to bring it full circle.
Pew.
What a segue. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you get a notification every time we upload a new review, which we try to do each week with a new review of the biggest release every week. So do that. Thank you for that. Thank you once again. We'll see you next time. Peace.
That's not fair. You're cheating with your phone out.
Well,
Drink off.
we could.